Hey folks, we're taking a break from computer-related videos, and we're going to take a look at some thrift store scores. Now, Second and Charles, the place where I got this stuff, is technically more like a consignment shop, but you know what? I still consider it thrifting because I'm finding cool stuff out at a store. Consignment shops is still thrifting to me. Let's start out with some games. I managed to pick up Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo for about $35. These Zelda games are getting pretty expensive, and I decided to get this game before it goes up to something like $50, because that'd be crazy. It looks like somebody scribbled all over it. The contacts look good. I inspected them this time before I got them. And yeah, Zelda: A Link to the Past. Wonder if the battery in this is good. If not, I'm gonna have to change the battery in it, which might get its own video. We'll see. I still have yet to clean this cartridge up. I took the price tag off, but it's still a little dirty. What else did we get here? We got Golf for the NES. This is a fun game. I've always liked this one. It's just a nice game to play with a friend or something if you don't want to do anything crazy. And it has one of the early Nintendo sleeves with it too, which I thought was really cool. So I got this for literally $3. What else did we get? A great game for the Atari. Of course, it uses one of the unusual Atari cartridges that has a little adapter thing on the end. Frogs and Flies. Stupid strap. Frogs and Flies for the Atari 2600, developed in 1982. This is a classic game. It's a ton of fun, so I decided to pick this up. Looks like it's in pretty good shape as well, just kind of dusty. So I'll be sure to give that a shot. And I got some more games as well. But first, in Second and Charles, they had something that is just absolutely hilarious that I have to show you guys. They have a Donald Trump coloring book. Let's make coloring great again. There's some hilarious stuff in here. They put him on Mount Rushmore. They put him on the extraterrestrial highway to Area 51. The Lincoln Monument. That one makes me laugh. There's just the Statue of Liberty. It's hilarious. The author of this book is M.G. Anthony. In case you're looking for it, I think it's pretty local to here too. It was published by Post Hill Press. If you want to get yourself a copy of this, the ISBN number is 978-1-68261-028-2. So if you want to get yourself a copy of that, yeah, this is going to make an awesome gag gift for somebody. I'll end up doing that at some point for someone who has my sense of humor. What else did we end up with? Another cheap game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 for the original PlayStation. Now I am an absolute fanatic for the first 4 versions of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. The first 4 games were amazing. I loved them. And I've been trying to sort of get every version. I have every version for the Nintendo 64, which is versions 1 through 3. I had versions 1 through 3 for the original PlayStation as well, and I finally got 4. I think it uses the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 engine just as it does for 3. So we'll have to see about that. Look, it seems to be in pretty good shape, though. It has the manual, the disc. Disc is a little banged up, but not terribly so. It just needs to be cleaned, I think, and that's really it. It should be fine. Nice cheap game there. And now we move into import games. This is a game I actually got a little while ago, but I didn't really have an excuse to make a video about a single game. I actually bought this on eBay. I got some money as a gift from somebody, and I decided to get this. What might this be? This is Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Famicom. This is the Japanese version of the game, which is literally the same exact game, except it was $10 cheaper. It was $30, so I decided to grab this. And it's in pretty good shape, just needs some cartridge cleanup, and then I can play Castlevania 4. The only real difference between the American version and the Japanese version is that the Japanese version has less censorship. There's blood on the title screen. I think some of the statues are a little bit more explicit in nature. I think there's just more. There's probably just like boobs and other genitals and things like that. I haven't played the game enough to tell you, but yeah, this is a game I've wanted for a long time. Now I have Castlevania 4. It's an awesome game. This game, now this is interesting. It's in a Japanese exclusive for the Super Famicom. Of course, it's made by Namco, so you know it's going to be pretty good. It's $10. It looks like it looked like Second and Charles. It got a bunch of Japanese stuff in. They had a Japanese Mario Kart 64 as well. Now, what is this game, you might ask? Super Wagyan Land. It's an interesting game. You're this little dinosaur thing, and you run around, and your sound is what kills enemies. It's an intriguing game, and I can't wait to play it. This also needs a cleanup as well. This is the game that needs the most cleanup. As you can see, the front of it looks pretty good. The back of it's a little yellow. The contacts need some cleaning. I'm probably going to have to run over these with an eraser because they're just that bad. But I'm pretty sure this is salvageable. So yeah, that's a good game there. And I managed to find the Japanese version of Super Pinball Behind the Mask, which has some of the best music on the Super Nintendo, in my opinion, for one of the tables. So it's definitely worth. It was definitely worth picking this up. Another $10 game. Next level video games. So I have the American version of this, but I wanted to get the Japanese version to see what the differences were. I suspect that it doesn't say "get ready" like in the American version, and it says something else, but I don't know. I haven't played it yet. We'll find out. So those were the games. What else did I happen to get? Here's the grand finale. An Atari Flashback for $15. These things are pretty cool. I like these flashback consoles. They're fun to take over. They're fun to use for like parties or something like that, where you just want to set up some simple games for people, especially for people that have gotten really drunk. Games like this are perfect. So the Atari Flashback. It's got this is a mini 7800 version of it. It looks a bit like the Atari 7800. It's pretty simple on the back. It just has your input. It just has power and audio and video, and on the front you have controller ports. It came with the power adapter, which is nice to see. It's an official Atari one too, and it came with these really neat controllers. I like these controllers. They're actually pretty comfortable to use. They're just not the most accurate in the world because you can feel under there. It's a rubber dome. The buttons over here are nice though. And the best part is, it uses the DB9 connector, so you could probably use these controllers on a real Atari and they'd work. Came with everything it needed, so yeah, the Atari Flashback. That will get a video of its own at some point, because it's a pretty cool system. I've played it once, and there's one game in particular on there that I had a lot of fun with. Food Fight is on this particular version of the Flashback, and that's a pretty great game. So we'll take a look at the Atari Flashback on its own eventually, but I figured I'd give you just a brief look at it. So there you go. This is everything I managed to get a hold of at Second and Charles over the past couple weeks or so. Again, Castlevania I've actually had probably since sometime in January or February, but I just hadn't gotten around to filming it yet. So I think we'll get around to testing some of the Famicom games once I do the modification to my Super Nintendo that lets you play the Super Famicom games on there. So we'll get to that eventually. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.